Welcome to the Grassroots Racing Show. I'm Doug Thompson.
And I'm Roger Thompson, co-host of the Grassroots Racing program.
The premise of the Grassroots Racing Show is simple. A film crew under the direction of award-winning reporter, videographer Mike Kraft visits the racetracks and sends us fantastic film footage of the racing.
We turn it into a great racing show, and you get to enjoy it from the comfort of your own home.
It's that simple. The Grassroots Racing Show begins now.
Hi, I'm Darren Fuquay. I'm here at Wichita Speedway for the Chisholm Trail Showdown. It's our finale for the year, so we're hoping that the Big Time Bell Bonds 87 and TOS Oilfield Service has a good weekend and a good showing.
This here on this Friday night. Caution lights have been turned off 20 times around. Off of turn number 4, green flag waves. It is showtime. As the field rolls off into turn numbers 1 and 2, we're still side by side for that top spot. 4 wide back in the field as they exit turn 2 into turn number 3. Working lap number 1 down off of turn 4 to the front straightaway. It's going to go to the 55B of Brian Davidson. Brian Davidson in that 55B grabs the top spot as they head down the back straightaway. 20 times around, your B-Mod Championship event here on night number 1, side by side off of 4, as the 21B of Brandon Kinney out of Woodward, Oklahoma, now challenging for that top spot. They stay almost side by side as they exit turn number 2, now down the back straightaway. In that number 3 spot is Mark Schaffman. He's out of Edwardsville, Kansas, as your top 3 start to break away from the field just a little bit, entering turn number 1, your B-Mods Championship event here on night number 1. Still side-by-side action down the back straightaway over that top spot. They can't get away from each other. Brandon Kinney, the 21B, the B55 of Brian Davidson. Still side-by-side. Watching the action is Mark Schaffman. He's in that 44X. Those 3 cars now starting to pull away from the field here. 20 times around, what we're working our way to may have a leader this time clear off of turn number 4. It's going to be the 21B of Brandon Kinney. Kinney out of Woodward, Oklahoma. Nose to tail, your top 3 cars off of turn 2, down the back straightaway to turn number 3. Brandon Kinney, the 21B out of Woodward, Oklahoma, is still challenging Schaffman in the 44X and the B55 of Brian Davidson. The remainder of the field looking good as they go down the front side into turn numbers 1 and 2. Your leaders already entering turn number 4, though. Still the top 3 cars. Now another challenge for that top spot side by side. The 44X of Schaffman grabs the momentary lead now over at turn 2, puts a slide on. If he can hold it, he'll lead him down the back straightaway. Brandon Kinney in the 21B, still right there. Your B-Mods putting on a show here on night number 1. Kinney now back to the top spot. That's your 4th lead change in 8 laps. Your top 3 cars exiting turn number 2. Now just about a half a turn margin. Our 4th place car right out there by himself, the number 92 of Jeffrey Kopp. As your leaders make their way down the front straightaway, the 21B, Brandon Kinney, leads the field into turn numbers 1 and 2. Now starting to get a little save. Our 2nd place car, Mark Schaffman, says, I've had enough. He's off the turn number 2 and back into the infield. So all by himself now off of turn number 4. It's Brandon Kinney out of Woodward, Oklahoma, the 21B. Brian Davidson in the 2 spot. The 92 of Jeffrey Kopp in your 3rd spot, and now your leader spins it over there in turn number 1 and 2.
Somebody blew a motor, I think the 44. There's a lot of moisture in 1 and 2. That's what he hit and spun it. There's a lot of moisture in 1 and 2, and we're going to have to throw out a caution and take care of that.
Well, you can see that. We missed it up here in the condo, but you can see some moisture exiting turn number 1. Jeffrey Kopp out of Woodward. Off of turn number 4, they check him down, green flag waves, and we're back underway. Good start for the 21B of Kopp, and a good start for the 92 of Jeffrey Kopp. 21B of Brandon Kinney, side by side going into turn number 3, once again for that top spot. The 92 of Kopp had to hit the binders, and that will allow Kinney down the front straightaway into turn number 1. Again, your top 3 cars nose to tail. A little bit of contact between the second and third place car. That'll be the 92 of Kopp and the B55 of Davidson. They separate going into turn number 3 with a little bit of room off of turn number 4. The 21B of Brandon Kinney, your leader. Now the B55. Brian Davidson grabs that number 2 spot from Jeffrey Kopp in the 92. Kopp will go back into the number 3 position. As the field enters turn 3, your leaders down the front straightaway. Brandon Kinney, the 21B, about a 5-6 car margin as he goes into turn number 1. Your Sport Mod or the B Mods championship event. 13 laps down into the books, working our way to 20. Good action back there in the field as the 21B of Kinney brings him off of turn number 4. That is lap number 14 of 20. Working our way through the field. B55 of Brian Davidson now holding down a solid number 2 spot. The 92 of Jeffrey Kopp, also out of Woodward, Oklahoma, rounding out your top 3. As the 21B of Kinney brings us to a caution. A car up there on the top side of the Speedway. It looks like that would be Jerry Brown probably in the X car. He's out of Prescott, Kansas. Brings us to our second caution here in your B-Mod Championship event. This one to wrap up night number 1. We're down off of turn number 4. Little action off of turn number 4. Everybody's okay and we're under green. Kopp tried to get a little advantage, didn't work for him, but he's going to hold on to that number 2. Davidson, the B55. Your leaders, here comes Weens now in the 18 car. He says, I want to check this thing out. Everybody completes lap number 15. Your leader, still the 21B of Brandon Kinney. He's out of Woodward, Oklahoma. The 92, Jeffrey Kopp out of Woodward. The B55 of Brian Davidson out of Bennington. But the field is kind of caught up with your top 3 cars now as Alex Weens in the 18. Kyle Weens holding down that number 4 spot, trying to advance on your top 3 cars, bringing the field with him. Your field down the back straightaway into turn number 3. Still the 21B of Brandon Kinney, about a 3-4 car margin as he exits turn number 4. The 92 of Jeffrey Kopp. He's got Davidson, the B55, right on the backside. Oh, the caution comes out again. We've got a drive shaft, apparently, track official saying in turn 3, and this one's going to be off of the X car, Jerry Brown, as he rolls to a stop up here on the top side of turn number 4. The field gathers it up off of turn number 4. Green flag waves. We've got 3 laps to go. Davidson in that B55 right on the backside. Davidson going to move into second. Now the 92 of Kopp in danger. They're going to be 3 wide back there for third into 3. Off of turn numbers 3 and 4. A little bit of bumping going on back in the field. It's still Kinney, your leader. Davidson in second in that B55. As the field makes its way off of turn number 2, we've got a couple of cars over in between number 1 and 2. We'll check the field to a caution as a couple of cars bringing us over there into turn number 1 and 2. On that guy out of Arc City in the 15, he's been a late one coming up. We go off of turn number 4 to a green. Kinney, good restart for him. Davidson, and a good restart for Kopp in the 92. Denny in the 15, running in the top 4. Off of turn number 4, we're going to look at a white flag this time for the 21B of Brandon Kinney, Davidson, Kopp, and Denny. The field into turn number 1 and 2. Your leader down the back straightaways got the B55 of Davidson right on the backside. Here comes Kinney making a challenge for the 3 spot. Your checkered flag is out. At the finish line, it's going to be Brandon Kinney, Davidson, Kopp, and Denny.
Give him a round of applause here, 81 Speedway, for your winner tonight, Brandon Kinney.
You can go ahead and talk to him.
Well, first of all, it was a great run between you and Mark Schaufman there for a while. Slide jobs and everything else. First 8 laps, 4 lead changes, but then things settled down.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough racing surface to get figured out. I wasn't real sure if I was in the right groove, but when he slid me, made me feel like I could drive a little bit harder and got it done.
Let's talk about that. The track seemed to change a little bit throughout the race. What was the toughest part of the race?
Mainly figuring out where to run in 1 and 2 because it's pretty slick all the way to the top, but there's just a touch of moisture on the top that I found towards the end of the race and liked it.
Who do you want to thank?
Boom Test Well Service, Mud Hog Services, and Ramirez Race Cars.
There he is, your winner tonight, Brandon Kinney.